Hi everyone, it's Nicole from Nicole Jones #1 Colors, and this week we are going to be playing with or talking about the Albrecht Durers. And this is a watercolor pencil, but the great thing about these watercolor pencils that are different than any other is that you can use them wet or dry. We love multi-purpose supplies, right? But not only that, these Faber-Castell pencils match perfectly. So if you look at the polychromos at 104, 104 is light yellow glaze, just the same as this pencil. And the same with dark cadmium yellow. You have a dark cadmium yellow in polychromos. But if you only want one, if you get the Albrecht Durers, again, you can use them wet or dry. Now we're going to talk about all the different supplies, if you will, that we are going to have to work with these pencils. So, of course, my trusty Caran d'Ache palette. This palette has a rough side and a smooth side. Now I have to say, if you have a regular palette, what you can do is just take some sandpaper and rough it up, and then you'll have a rough side. And what this is good for is that we'll be able to take this and scribble on, and then instead of coloring on our page, you can pick up the color from here and move it over there. And you say, why would you want to do that? Well, you can control the color more, one, and two, you can mix colors and make like a third color. Then we're going to need some paintbrushes. These are the Arteza water brush, and I really like them, and I'm going to have two of them because I'm going to have them in two different sizes. Then I brought in the satin glaze liquid, because we're going to use these pencils on Amazon paper, which we tried last time with the soft pastels, and I didn't like the results. So we're going to try it without the satin glaze and then with the satin glaze and see if, you know, which one we like better. So of course, because I'm going to be applying this, I am going to need another brush to apply this. So just a regular paintbrush to apply this to my page. And then just a cloth just to soak up the water, you know, from your paintbrush. You don't need a lot of tools in order, you know, to use these. So now I'm just gonna kind of get myself organized, and I'll show you the books that we're going to be using to test these pencils. The 3 books we're going to be working in, and it could change because sometimes, you know, this I film over quite a few days, and then the more you use something, the more ideas pop in your head. So, you know, I could use another book. But first, it's Shooting Stars by Maria Trolley, and we're going to work on this page. So this one here, we're definitely going to do like a background, and, you know, I'll talk about all the different things that we're going to do. This is the Amazon paper book that we're going to use, and we're going to be working on this page for, I don't know if this will be the satin glaze or without, and then maybe we can just, you know, flip to another page in this book and try it without. And then the last book is World Fairy Tales and Beyond by Erie, and we'll be working on this page here. So let's get started. Just a little side note in case this is like your first video of mine. What I've done is I've taken these tabs and I've put every book, you know, has their own tabs, and then I just stick it on the inside cover, which I'm taking the cover off because I don't want it to get it dirty. And then I have these containers, and I put that there. So when I'm working on different books, I have everything separated, and then I can easily find, you know, the colors that I wanted to use for this book. So let's say, even though I'm going to do the water first, I'm going to put the pencils in here in case I need to add more or just tweak it. Then I don't have to try to figure out which pencils I used. So we're going to start with the Erie book. I think you figured that out. And we're going to use light cobalt turquoise 154, cobalt turquoise 153, and cobalt green 156. And the first way we're going to use them is just actually take the pencils and color directly on the page. So we're not going to put it on the palette and then put it on the page. So the darkest color is 153, the medium tone is 156, and the light is 154. So we're going to start with the 153. And I'm going to go around and figure out where it would be kind of, you know, have dark shadows. So I'm going to start with that. You could start with the lightest color. It's just I tend to forget to put my shadows in, so I'm going to start with that and just kind of put it, and I'm going to try and, I don't know, maybe kind of have the lightest, so that lightest color like right around her, so that she's kind of lit. And one thing too is the more pigment that you add, the darker the color. So I would start with a light hand, and you can always come back and add, but it's really difficult to take away. So just start with a light pressure. Don't push super hard your first go around. And the other thing too is I mentioned that on the palette you could mix colors. You can do this on the page too, just by going, like, if I know, I don't know, that this is this color here that I want to use, I can overlap those two colors, and then that'll make a color too. And that's really great for like in the sky and stuff. I don't know, maybe I do want to start with the light. And it's okay to change your mind. So I'm just thinking, you know, the sun is coming this way. I have a really hard time with that. And I think my advice for that is, I don't think you need to fuss too much with that whole thing, you know. It's a coloring page. Obviously, you know, in everything that we do, we always try to do our best, and that's just great. As long as you don't beat yourself up over it, right? It's like, at the end of the day, it's a coloring page. Let's see, it's going to be dark in there. And I use coloring as totally a stress reliever. And I know I've mentioned quite a few times that my middle daughter, she's had some serious medical issues, and she's got to go again for some more tests and stuff. So I can tell you the last weekend, I had a hard time coloring, but I also had to process too that, you know, we were starting, you know, more tests and all that stuff again. You know, we thought we were on the other side, and So I did a lot of crying last weekend. No sleeping and no eating. And then you have to kind of shake yourself off and then say, okay, you know, she needs me, so I need to be strong for her. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about that too much, because it's this, the reason I'm doing this is to, again, just get out of my head, right? Okay, so I'm kind of doing dark and then the medium and the light. The one thing I will say is you don't know what it's going to look like until you actually start mixing the colors. And while I'm thinking of it, always try to go from the light to the dark when you're wetting the color or activating the crayons, I guess. I have to say, these are like I said, you can use them wet or dry. So I can actually like wet it and then go in with the same color and then do my shades and highlights and all that, and bring in other colors too. But so that's pretty cool. I have to say, the feel of the pencil, I do like the feel of, which is weird, but I mean, when you're coloring for, you know, long periods of time, how the pencil feels actually helps too, because, you know, you got to hold them in your hand for a long time. I do like the feel of the polychromos so much more. And I understand why they didn't make them the exact same way. And, you know, I'll tell you a little story. I was sure I had lost one of my Albrecht Durers pencils. This was before I realized that the other one is like completely, I have one right here, so completely smooth and round, and this one is like a hexagon or whatever. That was before I realized that, and I looked everywhere. I ripped everything up, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I wonder if I put it with my polychromos, and I go, and there it was, you know, there it was. Because of course, you know, that would happen, that, let's say if it was 154, well, the 154 in the polychromos was out in a container. So I didn't realize that, right? Because I wasn't looking, I was looking for Albrecht Durers. Anyway, so then I was like, oh, well, look at that. It's like hexagon, and the other one is completely smooth. Okay. I'm just shifting or switching, not shifting, switching between the different colors. It might be a complete mess, who knows? But the other thing is, how are we going to get better at things? How are we going to, you know what we like, what we don't like, if we don't actually do it, right? Okay, so I think I'm going to do the medium tone there, which is the 156 over here. So I have to work on, I'm working on little cards that I'll be able to put on the page when I'm, you know, doing color alongs or things like this, like Let's Talk, or just so that it's just easier. I mean, it's going to be kind of difficult when I change them over, but I mean, even just looking at the camera, you can tell, you know, when I have the medium, the light, you can stop and kind of say, okay, is that the light? Is that the medium? Or is that the dark tone? Okay. So we're going to use the Albrecht Durers, like I said. Like here, it's like for water. We're going to use it for the background. But we're also going to use it as for basing. For basing like her dress and that kind of stuff. And then going over top with crayons. See, I said it again. Colored pencils. I was talking about that in another video. That I think that the reason I say crayons is because in French, I'm French, and it's crayon. So it just automatically, I switch it to crayons, and it's colored pencils. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my trusty cloth. I'm going to use my bigger brush here. And we're going to start from light going to dark. And we're just going to go back and forth, and always, I find when I get to the other color, I go and just dab my brush. Once I feel like my brush is getting too wet too, what I should be doing is putting something in behind. I mean, if it goes through, it'll go through to there, but at least it won't ruin too. So that's the other thing too, you know, like don't wet it too much. And the first coat is always going to look like a hot mess, you know, so don't worry about that. Just know the first coat, hot mess. It's kind of like you're mapping out your colors, you know, that first try. And the difference between these and let's say the Inktense, which, you know, one day we're going to do the Inktense too, is that these, if you wet it again, you'll reactivate the color. The Inktense, once it's dry, it's dry. So your time to kind of move your color is pretty limited. Another thing too is if you don't like a certain way and it's wet, don't keep going over and over. Just fix it with the second coat because you will go through the page. Now I know that for the last few weeks I've done a Let's Talk every week, but I think I'm gonna kind of slow those down because then I'm gonna run out of stuff, and they do take quite a while to film and to edit too. So I think I'm going to be doing those every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. And then I'm going to start a new segment or new videos that is going to be called Crack the Whip. So this week that I'm filming this, I'll be publishing the Let's Talk About Water Base Markers. That was so much fun. No, I already did that one. Sorry. That one's already published. Oof. It's the soft pastels. I still have to edit that video. So, so the week that the soft pastels are going to be, is going to be published, the next week it'll be the Crack the Whip and not the Albrecht Durers. I might say in that video, oh, next week or whatever, I'm going to work with the Albrecht Durers, which I did, but I'm going to wait till the week after to publish it. Now, I have to say, these pencils here, they blend like butter. Like, they're not hard at all to activate. And I just love that. I love that so much. So much. Just like that. Love it. Okay. So cool. Okay. There. Oh, yeah. So yeah, the month of May, I finished with 11 whips. One was from the week before, the month before, and I shouldn't have started there. And then I just stopped, and I shouldn't have stopped either. Should start with the light going into the dark. So I don't mind having 11 whips. That's not the issue. I find that's, you know, a good number or whatever. It's not 100. I do not want 100. I don't want all these whips and then all of a sudden it just feels overwhelming. So I want to kind of take control of the whips right off the bat. So that's why I'm starting the Crack the Whips. And when you think, like, I'm starting this and I started 2 already this week, so really I'm at 14 right now. So that is, you know, increasing. And this month, yes, I only chose 20 books. Actually, I'm at 15. I started 3 yesterday. I'm at 15 and I chose 20 books, but some of the books I chose, some of the coloring books, I chose more than 1 page per book. Like the fairy tale worlds, I'm hoping to get 3 pages in that one done. So I'm working in that book at least once a week, and that's the one I had kind of started it in May, and I guess I forgot to put it as a whip. So really, you know, I had 12 whips, but all I had done was the sun on the page, and I think that's why I forgot about it. I had just done the sun. So last night I finished the clouds on that page and I did the swan. So every night when we're watching TV, I think that's the book that I'll be working in. And I'm hoping to get 3 done in that book. That's what I'm hoping. There. Okay, so that is all activated. Another tip is it's very tempting, you know, because it looks like a hot mess. You want to go and fix it right away. Let it dry. And I know some people say like 15 minutes. I'm really going to let it dry. Like maybe I'll just come back to it tomorrow. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to do the sky. And this time, we're going to use a different technique. Instead of doing the pencils directly on, we're going to take our colors and we're going to put it on the palette and move it over. So let me choose the colors because I have no idea what colors I want to use right now. And then I'll come back and we'll start on that. So we're going to do a colorful sunset. And before I forget, I went to paletkit.com, which is my Colorful Country Life's website. It's okay to, you know, go and find palettes wherever you can find them. And since I pay for her like membership, I'm going to use it. So I'm going to tell you from, and all I typed in was sunset. So, and you know, there was, and just having, I couldn't choose Albrecht Durers because they're not on there, but because Polychromos and Albrecht Durers are basically the same colors, one you can activate, one you can't, and I'm sure there's other stuff, right? But they're the same colors. So I just put in Polychromos, and these are the colors from dark to light. So pink carmine 127, fuchsia 123, pink madder lake 129, and then cadmium orange 111, dark cadmium yellow 108, and cadmium yellow 107. And what I like too on her website is at the very top of like this, it shows you what the gradient is going to look like. So then you can choose, like this one was called Honeyed Sunset. The one next to it was called Sunset Petal, and it had some purples in it. But I decided to just stay with the pink, and we'll see. So I have my palette turned to the rough side, and I'm going to keep my pencils in that order. I'm sure they're not going to stay in that order, but I'm going to put them in that order for now. And we'll start with the lightest color, and we'll go to the darkest color. Where there's 6 colors, I kind of have to figure out, you know, how far I'm going to go in. So let's say 1, and I try to think of that beforehand. 2, 3, then 4, 5, and then the very darkest, I'm going to make it barely anything. So probably like 1, 2, 3. Anyway, the very darkest, just like kind of a thin, 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 thin. We'll see how that works out, right? So let's start. What did I say this was? 107. Cadmium yellow. So I'm going to wet it, you know, really wet it. And then we'll start adding color. I find that's kind of very, very bright. So I'm going to add way more water. And let me see. Let's wet this. Yeah, you can wet it and just kind of pull some of that color off, right? Because I'm like, whoo, that is some bright. And I don't want it that bright. So, okay, don't rub like I just did. Just dab. Add water and dab. And then you can take away some of that color. Okay, that's much better. Much better. Just know, you know, most times you can fix, you know, it's a lot of water. So I want to make sure that my brush is pretty dry so that it's not adding water on top of that. But that's one of the reasons why I like using the palette instead of going directly on, is that you can kind of, you know, have a little bit more control on the intensity of the color. The intensity of the color. Oops. There, it's okay, it's gonna be green. So this whole page we're going to base with Albrecht Durers. And I don't know if I'm going to film like every step, or just this page is going to be like hours. So maybe let's choose a section and do all the different colors, and then I'll finish the whole thing and then come back. And that's what I'm kind of working on how to kind of do that, like how to say, okay, we're going to start this and then I'm going to do a little bit and then come back. Okay. So we'll just do like kind of like the little section on the side here. Maybe up to the butterfly. So it'll be enough that you can kind of still see it. See the gradient or whatever. And again, first coat, messy. So now let's do the third color. It's more like orangey. Okay. It's kind of this color here, which is cadmium orange. When I put it down, because I was like, ooh, orange and pink, that's going to be, but it almost had, like when I just had the pencil down, it kind of had a pinky tone to it. Okay. Okay. We'll do this. Now we're going to do Pink Matter Lake. Just like that. At first I was like, I'm not getting that Caran d'Ache. And I had a palette here and I kind of roughed up one side, but the palette was so big. And then this one went on sale and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna, and I've used it a lot. So I'm like, yeah, I think it was, what occasion was there? And I went, yeah, I'm going to buy it for that. It wasn't my birthday because it was just my birthday not that long ago. Okay, now the medium tone. And we'll do that. Let's put lots of water. Just like that. Okay. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. It's so cool. And then the last one, which is Pink Carmine. And this, I'm going to make sure to really dilute it a lot. I should have put them on the palette in the order. That wasn't too smart of me. So I should have started with the light, medium, and orange, like for the yellow, and then light, medium, and dark for the pink. And then I wouldn't be like, which one was the light again? Okay. I find where it usually bleeds bad is right at the edge of the papers, because I don't think I don't know, whatever coating they put on these, you know, for it to work, I don't think it's on there, on the edges. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like. And again, first coat, actually for a first coat, it's not bad. It's not, doesn't look too like a hot mess. So I'm gonna go and do the rest of this, and then we'll come back and work on another section. I'm gonna keep that drying for now. So we talked about directly using the pencil and going on the element and coloring it using your palette. Another way you can use these is directly your paintbrush and pull color off. Now this way here, the color will definitely be more potent. But then you can put it on and kind of pull the color too. But if you don't have a palette and you want to, you know, not color directly, this is one way to do it. So we'll do that. We'll do her dress in Purple Violet, which is 136, Blue Violet 137, Mauve 249, and then I want Dark Indigo 157, and that's probably going to be used dry just to add shadows to the dress. So I didn't add a second coat to anything yet. And I think we'll do the second coat, a little bit of it anyway, together for the water. And I'll use the same technique to do, you know, the second coat for everything. My hope is at the end of this video, we'll see. I was going to say my hope is that I have a finished page to show you at the end, but even if I don't, and I have all the, you know, the basing done at least, finished at least to that point, it's a win, you know. Another page started. Today's Wednesday. I think we're, what day are we? June 3rd. Wow, time flies, right? So June 3rd. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know why I thought saying the date was important. Oh, so it's just the beginning of the month and I've already started, I don't know, 4 pages? None finished yet. Last month at this point in the month, like May 3rd, I already had a few pages done, but that's okay. I'm just doing a lot of starts right now, and you know, hopefully tonight I can work on finishing off stuff. So I just did the one color for the dress. I don't know, once it's dry, I might try to add maybe with the pencils, like directly on and then activating it, the other colors, because then that'll be like another different way. And that again, and also for the water, I just went on paletkit.com and said, you know, blue. And then I chose one that, you know, the combination that I liked. And this one I went purple and chose these. And now I'm going to look for green, maybe 2 different greens, because then we can do, you know, those one tone of green and then these ones another tone of green. Now we're going to work on some leaves, and I did the same thing. Found a combo on paletkit.com. So we got ivory, May green, which ivory's 103, 170, 168, 167, and 267. I'm just going to say the numbers because it's just too much. Okay, so I think this time we're going to color directly on again. I think I'm going to do those, like those, and those. I'll probably just do these with you, and then I'll go and color on my own. And then those, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove some colors and then add a really dark one for different ones. So pretty much the same combo, just change it. Okay. We'll put the dark on the edge, and that's pine green. So we'll just put some at the very bottom here. And just going up. Bottom. Going up. Bottom. Going up. Okay. I don't know what this is. That's supposed to be, oh, that's supposed to be the part of the stem. Oof. Okay. Now we're going to go to permanent green olive, 167. We're going to overlap that first color a little bit. We might come again with a darker. So you could use these pencils and not activate them at all if you wanted to. Just use them dry. That's why I have the polychromos though, and those. If I'm just going to do just dry, then I'm just going to use the polychromos. This is going to work. Pretty cool, I think. Then we'll go with the earth green yellowish. Add a little bit of that over the whole thing too. It just changes, like you're making new colors too. Okay. Actually, before I finish all of them, let's just see. That's the May green 170. See how it looks. And then we're going to take the cream and just kind of blend it a little bit. Then I'm going to go back to the darkest and just add a little bit more of the dark. Oh, wrong one. I want to do that on this one because I want to activate it right away and see what it looks like. Okay. So again, I should clean off my brush. Still got purple on it. And start in the light. Go in the dark. And all those colors are blending together. Okay, again, I'm going to do second coat for sure. Probably not a third coat, but a second coat for sure. Okay, so let's do May green. And the cream, again, when I did the search, there's no Albert Durers, so I'm going with the Polychromos blend, but it's okay. So I'm just going from light to dark again, just adding the colors. I don't find there's enough color there, so just adding a little bit more. And then we'll activate. Keep your cloth close. Don't switch your cloth though. I've done that before. Like I'll take my cloth and like flip it upside down and it's wet. And then I end up putting crud on my coloring page. And then I'm like, no, why did you do that? Okay. Okay, and what this does too, it covers the tooth of the paper so that when we come back later, we can less shadows, less highlights and all that. So I could just do one color, and that's why I did the dress just one color. But the whole purpose of this is because I'm experimenting. So I'm trying different things, you know. Let's see if we blend a whole bunch of pencils together and what does it do? If you don't like it, then you know next time you don't do it. Okay. Let's do a little bit more of the dark. And that's another thing too, like on palette kit, like she had, what, 6? You don't need to take all 6 too. Like that's what I'm going to do on the other flowers. Actually, not flowers, but leaves. I think on the other leaves, I'm just going to like pick a color. Let's say if I pick May green, I'm just going to do May green and then I'll do the shadows with pencils, with Polychromos. I'm not going to do the shadows with this, only because I have the Polychromos, so I don't want to, like I want these to last a long time. And they should, because you don't use a lot to put pigment on, which is great. Which is great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest of the flowers, or not, I keep calling them flowers, leaves. And then I'll come back and just know, like, let's say if there is the 5 that I said to you in the order, I'm probably going to take this off and then add the dark green to use for the other ones. So then I'll use 167, 267, and 278 for those. So then they'll look pretty different. And I'll come back once all the leaves are done. So I've done a second coat on the background or the sky. I've started to add some shadows and everything to the leaves in the background, but I kind of stopped. I think my favorite was this one here. Like that's nothing else but the Albrecht Durers, and I was moving, you know, the color around. So those two is when I got sort of like a hold of what I was doing, and I really like that. And then the rest of the leaves, all I did was again used a combo of those or just one color, and then I'm going to do the shading and everything with some polychromos. Now we're going to do or work on the water right now. And again, it is 154, 156, and 153. And what I like to do once, you know, like to sort of like fix it, I like to use a brush that's kind of like mangled. And two reasons. I find it works so much better. But two, if you do that with a good brush, it's going to become like this. So you might as well have one that you just have sort of like for that purpose. And then, you know, you don't wreck all your brushes, because even though you can get some, you know, sort of pretty cheap, you don't want to just use it once and then it's in this state. So my palette is in rough shape. But I had fun. This was fun to do. And now we'll just do the background. So I'm just starting with the lightest color. And what I do is I just pounce. Now you can do that, or again, you can pick it right from the pencil and pounce your color in. It's going to be a little bit more concentrated if you do it directly from the pencil. But again, then you won't have to do this, you know, 10 times. Hopefully just that one time and it'll be done. There we go. So yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to keep working on this page and just get it done, or if I'm going to put it aside and come to it another day or another week or whatever, because I still want to work in, what was the other one? Shooting Star. And just be careful not to get it too wet, because you will go through. Yeah, I want to work on or in Shooting Stars by Maria Trolley, and I want to do a little bit of work, not as much as I did on this one, but in the Amazon print book, because I want to see, you know, with the glazing, satin glazing liquid and without, and kind of see which one's better. I can tell you that I did use the satin glazing liquid on Amazon paper, and then I tried to color in with colored pencils. I did not like it. Did not like it. I much rather do alcohol markers and then color over top 100% of the time. I did not like the grittiness that it gave the page. Now I am going to go and find some sandpaper before we do our page and try to sand it down a little bit, like sand down a part of it and see the difference. So there's going to be quite a bit of experimenting, and so I don't want to do too long with this, because I already checked how long the video is going to be, and it's already at an hour, and we haven't done the other 2 books yet. So I can say that Erie's book, this one anyway, works really well. And another thing about Erie books is I've heard a lot of people say that there's certain colored pencils, unless you're basing like this, the colored pencils don't work well on them or in them or whatever. So that's another reason why you'd want to do some basing, is to make the colored pencils work a little better. Just Just going to be a little careful in here because I don't want to get some on my lily pad. And you can tell like this paper is at its limit. It's starting to have like little dots, which some people don't like it. I don't care. It just gives it like texture. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Again, it's a coloring page. I'm doing this for literally for my mental health. I love it, but it's so that, you know, life is kicking us in the butt right now, and I just need something that I'm not thinking about it all the time. And even like my grandson went to get his cast off, took an x-ray, and they put another cast right on, and he's probably going to have it for another 2 to 3 weeks. And then they said no contact sports. Listen to this, from 2 weeks to 2 months. So which is it? Is it 2 weeks or is it 2 months? Like, I don't understand. So she's going back in a couple weeks, so I'm going to get her to ask. And if he says 2 weeks, then we're going to need a doctor's note for his summer camp because he won't be able to go. One of them already refunded us because it starts in 15 days, 2 weeks. So that one there, we knew like, no, he's not going to be able to do it, which is sad. He's sad. He went to, you know, the weekend because his team was at a tournament, and he held the door. You know, he had his jersey on and his helmet. He just opened the door and closed the door for the players and called them off when it was time to change and that kind of stuff. But he hung out with his teammates all weekend, so he had a blast, but it's not the same. Not the same. So there's, you know, that, and I'm really stressed about my daughter, which, you know what, I said a year ago, or whenever she had her, I guess it was 6 months ago, when she had her last MRI, I said, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to take a breath when you have your 1 year. So I'm still holding my breath from a year ago. And now that she sometimes has double vision, it's not all the time, she said, but is that from the new condition that who knows? She's going to be in waiting rooms so much and in so many physios. She has to do 2 different physios, and she has to work out every day. Has to. No. She has to build her muscle. Has to. She doesn't have a choice. Oh, like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot. We're all exhausted. I think I've had one day I eat, the next day I don't. Like today I haven't eaten yet, and it's 7:30 at night, and I haven't eaten yet. I think I'll have a tomato sandwich in a little bit, but I'm just not hungry, you know? Not hungry. So this is keeping my mind busy. So I've been, you know, working on my videos for Patreon and working on these videos. I'm going to do some more tomorrow, a little bit for each. So I think, like I said, this will come out next week. So, so by then I'll have what I colored in May is on the channel right now. And my June to be colored, that is coming out on Friday. But for you, if you're watching this, it's already out. And oh yeah, the soft pastels. When am I gonna, oh man, I gotta do the soft pastels too. Hi, I gotta figure out a day to do. I don't want to do like 10 videos in a row. I guess I could, but and I don't want to wait too long for my to be colored, I don't want to wait till the middle of June. That's why I should have released it like maybe last week of May or something. I have to file that for next month, right? Try to spread out the videos. And it's kind of, I don't want to say not helping, but it's because I started doing these videos. So I'm posting more videos. So it's making it. So I have, ooh, see, it went through. Dang it. I knew right there. Okay. So it's actually the next day because I was working on this and my daughter called and I went and talked to her for a bit, kept going with this. And yeah, we'll just do a little bit more. It's almost done. Just want to show you it did go through a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be that difficult to fix. And I don't know if you can tell, the page is pretty warped. Now, the thing with paper, which I learned doing scrapbooking, is, and I'm sure everybody knows, but paper's made of fibers. So if you get them wet, they shrink. So what you need to do is stretch the page out. Or for scrapbooking, what I would do, if I did mixed media page, I would do this. I would kind of curl out the page. And then I would put some heavy stuff onto my page. Another thing I did was, stick it to another cardstock to make it straighter, which this is not an option for this. So just stretch the paper and it's gonna stretch the fibers in the paper. So make it a little bit more pliable. And it's going to be crinkly because you got the paper wet. But again, it's a coloring page. It's all good. So again, I like this messed up little brush here. Looking for my little cloth. Have that close. Another thing too is when you're wetting the tip of your pencil, unless you actually intend on putting some dots on your page, don't do this part right over your page because you're going to make a mess. So just make sure that you do it over a cloth or something because it will splatter. And then I like to do the smooshing effect, And then it takes away those streaks that I don't like. And I want you to see how messed up this brush is, but it's probably my favorite for doing this. And like my Arteza one, I had a hard time getting that paintbrush. Half the time it's not available. I'm in Canada, so it's not available on Amazon Canada. Or if it is, it's like super expensive. I got it when it went on sale. I think it was like $25. So it was like, yes, for the 6 there. So that was, to me, that was a good price. And I got it. I probably should have gotten 2 sets, but it's like, You know, to invest $50 on paintbrush, it's kind of a lot. So I just thought, well, I still have it in my basket, or in my wish list, I should say, not my basket. And if it goes on sale again, then, you know, I can. It took a long time. It was in my basket, or in my wish list for about a year, and it finally went. But I think in June, there's June Prime Day sales, so maybe I'm hoping those will go on sale. And also the polychromos, because again, I can't get those open stock anymore, so I'm just gonna buy another set, but I want it to be cheaper, because for me to order it, they're $3 a pencil, and in order to get free shipping, I have to buy $120, which is a lot. So I might as well buy a whole set. And the Albrecht Durers, I think, are gonna last way longer, because you don't use a lot. Like, you don't push hard, you just, you know, a light touch to get quite a bit of ink on, or you just scribble on your palette. So I'm hoping that those last a long time. But I figure, you know, get the polychromos, and then eventually I'll get, once I see these going down quite a bit, the Albrecht Durers, then I'll get maybe another full set, and then I'll be all set because I have extras of Prismacolors. I have extra of Intense, except the new colors. I have extra. Ooh, what I could do too is, when I buy the extra polychromos, I'm pretty sure that place has Albrecht Durers, so like the new polychromos. So what I can do is, just if I notice there's some, just to make up the rest of the $120, I think what I'm going to do is buy 2 sets of 20s, and then I won't have to, because they're 20 pencils. So I'm thinking it'll probably be like $50, $50 or $60, you know. So I might not need to add any extra. But if there's, you know, a couple Albrecht Durers, I have a hard time saying that, that are low, I could just add them to the order. Because I think I'm going to start using these a whole lot more. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of a habit of creatures. So a creature of habits. Oh my gosh. I'm like, that didn't sound right. Oh, that's the dark stuff. Oh well. A creature of habits. So, you know, some of my Prismacolors, literally, they're this big, because I've used them so much. So now I'm trying to, you know, use my polychromos a whole lot more, and my other sets of colored pencils more. Okay, so you get the gist. You know, I'm just going to go over the rest of this and just pounce until I get the color that I want. Once it's dry, completely dry, I'm going to get my polychromos pencils in the same color, because remember, Albrecht Durers and polychromos have the exact same colors. And I'm going to go and just kind of smooth it out. I really like how it's smoothing everything out. I still have to work on this quite a bit, but I'm using the same colors. So the pine green, the May green, the earth greenish yellow, and I'm just going over. And what this did, it covered the tooth of the paper, and it's making it so I don't have to work as hard to do my shadows and highlights. Same with here, like, oh, look how, I'm not done. I just kind of did the edge with pine green, and then I'm going to go with May green and do this part. And I'm going to do the same with the sky. Like, I'm going to get all the pencils and kind of smooth everything out. One thing with the Albrecht Durers, they are super bright. I love how bright and cheery this page is. My granddaughter is so funny. She calls me 2 times a day, at least. If my daughter's working, then it's once a day, but on the weekend, it's twice a day. I want to talk to Mammy. So then they call. And then I'm usually coloring sometimes, you know, and she'll say, what are you coloring on? What are you coloring? And then I showed her this page last night, and she goes, oh. I said, do you see the little girl? I said, isn't she beautiful? She said, it's me. Super cute. And then I flipped my camera somehow, or I lifted my camera and tried to flip it back to me, and it didn't. And she saw my alcohol markers, and she said, Mom, look at all the colors. She's 3. She's adorable. Okay, so we're going to stop it here. I got everything covered. Hopefully at the end of the video, I can show you a progress of what I did with this. But now we're going to move on to the other page in Maria Trolley's book. And I also want to work on that Amazon book. So I think we're going to stop it for this one right here, so I can work on the other ones and work on more than one page. But I love these pencils for backgrounds, but I also love it 2 ways. You can blend right on, or you can just do the one color and then use your colored pencils to do your shadows and highlights. Actually, before we start on the next page, we're going to apply our satin glazing liquid to this page because it's going to take a while to dry, and I want that way it can dry while we work on the other page. Now I brought 3 types of ways, I guess, or tools to add this on. You can use a paintbrush. The only thing I find with a paintbrush, it leaves the paintbrush strokes, so I don't like that. This is like a rubber, so I'm going to try that. And then you have your regular foam brush. So I think I'm going to try these 2 because I already know this is going to make streaks and I don't like it. So I am ready to go. I have like a little acetate there to put this on, just a little bit. You don't need much. So a little bit. This bottle, it was expensive, but I think it's going to last me a long time. So we'll try with this first. And we're going to spread it. Ooh, I like this. It actually like drags it instead of like, because with this, it soaks into the brush. So you're wasting a lot. And like I said, that stuff wasn't cheap. Like I'm talking, the only place I could get it, I went to my local stores here. Michael's didn't have it. And really, it's our only craft store. It was on Amazon, and I paid $30 for that ball. I think I did get it on sale. I think it went down to like 25 or something. But still, it's a lot for an 8-ounce bottle. So if I can make it last a long time, you know what I'm hoping is that this thing here, this rubber brush, is going to make it so it's not as because I found once I was done with this, it was so rough, and I didn't like using my colored pencils on it. Like it looks like I'm putting a lot, but this thing is not picking up a lot, so I'm just spreading it out and making sure that it's all over the page. And I might as well use what's there, right? And I can tell when there's none in a certain place because the brush kind of goes like this. And now it's perfection. And I'm not going to make like a big background on this. I'm just going to keep it to just like right here. It looks like I had none there. Let me just add a little bit more. Again, it wasn't a lot what I put on that thing. I'm going to have to tip it. Because of the light, I can't see where I'm adding this stuff. It could have dried already too, because this tool here, I don't know, it might just be called a rubber. It was from Prima. I got this for my scrapbooking, but guess what? Now it's gonna, I have another one upstairs, a bigger one. I think it's like 2 inches wide. This one is a 1 inch. The other one will stay upstairs, and this one here will stay with my coloring stuff. I think I missed that whole row there, so I'd rather just put a little bit on the sheet as I need it, so I don't waste it. Yeah, I didn't do any this far out, so let's just do, and like I said, I'm putting such a little amount that even if I'm going over top again, it's not a big deal. Okay, I don't want to waste that. Let's just put it up here. And then it's less for me to clean off of that too. Okay, now we can put this aside. And by the time we're done with the other one, you know what? I'm not going to have to sand this down. I did bring some fine sandpaper. I'll show you. This stuff here, it's like 800 grit, so it's super fine. And I even have finer stuff than this, but I figured 800 would be good, but I'm not even sure if I'll need it. Next, we're going to work in Shooting Star by Maria Trolli. We're going to do this page here, and I found this compass set that wasn't even open. Like it was still in the plastic. And I'm like, thank you. I'm going to use that. And because I thought whenever I do pages like this that I want to do, like finish the circle, I can just use this. And this one already has a little, what do you call it? Lead in it. Like, yes, it's going to be pencil and not is that okay? It's going to be pencil and not in ink. Wonder if I could make it, I can probably make it bigger. Yeah. Okay, let me erase that. I got to find my eraser in this mess. I'm going to erase that and try it again. Okay, I think I found how I want it to be. So we'll start on this side, which I don't know if that's a good idea because I'm kind of going backwards. And I don't want to do it like heavy because I do want to kind of erase this after. It's just to kind of give me a guideline of where I want the color to stop. Ugh. Of course, my wrist is a pain in the tushy. So there, that makes it so it's like a perfect circle. Oh, I love that. I'm so happy that I have this. And then whenever you do something like that and you just want the markings to be there a little bit, you can take your kneading eraser. It is stuck in here. Good. Okay. And then just To you, it's probably going to look like it disappeared, but it's there just enough that I can see it, and I can probably even use this eraser and just go really, really light so I can still see it. I'm going to do it with this, and then I'll go in with that. It's just this one has to work so much more. So if I can get it, the one before, I didn't erase it very well. How many erasers do you need? And then the one up there too, I didn't erase very well. Okay. And I think with color, which I'm not going to follow this perfectly anyway, I don't think. I want it to be more like going outside of that a little bit, or maybe I'll do it just inside of this. I don't know. We'll see. But I've pretty much erased the whole thing. Now let me put all this mumbo jumbo away. Now for the sky, I guess I'm going to use these two colors, which is light cobalt turquoise 154 and sky blue 146. So I'm going to do the sky blue up here and the light up there, which I think I'm just going to directly go on. I think I'm just going to go so light. I could put it on my palette and do it that way, but so the point of doing it in here is just to test another paper. So the first one was in the Erie book. It did buckle, it did go through, but I kind of had added way too much water. So it's the control of water that you have to kind of master, I think. But the paper did pretty good. Now, I heard that some of Maria Trolli's books, they don't do so well with the addition of water. So we're going to see how this goes. So I'm going to use this color, which is the 146, in between all those vines there. Just like that. And then I'll use the other color going up. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, now we'll do this. Oh, I forgot to do this one up here. Let's do that. And I don't even know if you could see the color with the first one, because I was putting such a light. Now, the other thing is I'm going to do it this way for down here, and then up here, I think I'm just going to do either using the palette or directly on and just do that padding. I don't know. I might just do that, or I might just color it all in. I don't know. I kind of want it patchy. Do you know what I mean? So it looks like there's clouds up there. So that's why I'm thinking of doing that. So maybe I'll go to about here, and here I'll do, if I still do this, I'll just do like in certain areas. if I still do it this way, I guess is what I was trying to say. Sometimes I try to talk too fast and I skip words. Not that, it's funny, there's some people that I watch their YouTube videos and I just love their channel. But man, they talk fast. And then they mess up all their words because they're talking so fast. And I'm like, whew, you can talk a mile a minute. So I don't think I speak fast, but my brain tries to say the words faster than my mouth can actually say it. So I literally skip words. Or I say them backwards like I did a while ago. A habit of creature. A creature of habit. Okay. And I haven't been sleeping well. Like I'm waking up anywhere between 3 and 4. And then I'm up all day. And that's been since last week. So that gets kind of like, after a while, and I can't sleep during the day, so I'm not sleeping during the day. And then it would make it worse. I wouldn't sleep at night at all. Okay. There's that. And is this where I'm going to start just doing, I don't even know if I can do that properly, right? The whole cloud thing. But I think if I just do it, then it's going to be easier than me trying to do it. Now let me find my paintbrushes. I don't want this one yet. I want the nice one for now. Okay, we're going to get started with activating this. I don't think I put anything, did I? Hardly anything there. I might not have put enough of this color. I was trying to be like conservative, if you will. I got so much ink everywhere. So yeah, I decided that I just have so many videos to upload this week. The soft pastels are going to be pushed to next week. And this will be 2 weeks after. And then that way, it won't be like 5 videos this week uploaded or something ridiculous. So I'm just gonna do that. Because now I have today I have to edit what I want to color in June, and tomorrow's going to be June 5th. So it's time to put it up. And then Saturday is going to be my weekly whip and chat. So that would mean I would have to do like 3 days in a row or something. And my videos are all long. So that would mean that it's like 5 videos of almost an hour plus on each. So I just decided, you know what? Next week, we're going to go down to, again, just the weekly whip and chat. So let's just spread the love, you know. So it'll go up probably Monday or Tuesday next week. And then I'm also going to start Crack the Whip. So I'm hoping 1 week will be the Crack the Whip and 1 week will be the Let's Talk. That's what I'm hoping. I don't think I want to commit to more than 2 videos a week, you know, because that is a lot of filming and it is a lot of editing. And I have another channel that I want to start being more active on too. And my other channel, I actually have, you know, like it's monetized already. I've had it for like 13 years. So Although this one here, oh, please subscribe. I'm so close to 1,000. Thank you so much for subscribing. It means everything to me. Okay, so now we'll do the other color. Yeah, so this paper, oh, it even feels better to activate the Albrecht Durers, even better than the Erie. Like it glides much easier. So paper is everything, and we knew that, right? We knew that, but it's so nice to kind of see that, you know, like, yes, paper is everything. Paper is everything. Yeah, and it's not going through, and I don't feel like I have to flood the paper in order to move the color. So yes. Now I have to tell you that I just ordered gouache. I don't have any gouache. I ordered gouache because that's going to be one of the, you know, weeks we'll do gouache. So if you can think of something else that you would like me to kind of put to the test, you know, write it down in the comments down below. The first one, I think I mentioned quite a few things that I wanted to do, like, what did we start with? Neocolor 2s, Neocolor 1s is one that I want to do. Soft pastels, which I've already done. Let's talk water-based markers, which I've already done. And Inktense, Albrecht Durers, oil pastels, and now I'm getting gouache. What else? What else did I've kind of written myself a list, and even all the different pencils, right? Let's work with Prismacolors, and let's work with, I'm just going to turn this just so I can work on those clouds, if you will, you know. Like, let's say if we did Castle Arts, well, then we could try Castle Arts in a few different books and see how they work in, you know, on Amazon paper, on Maria Trolley's books. And I find like Maria Trolley and Hannah Carlzon are pretty much the same, but we could, you know, I wouldn't do a whole sheet, like a whole, oh, it's kind of shadowing. I kind of went over a few times. Don't do that. So we could do, oh, you know what? I'm going to use my other paintbrush for that because I want to do the pouncing. So we could do, you know, different, trying it on different papers, Amazon papers, Maria Trolley's, just do a little bit, like maybe do one mushroom or whatever, just so that, because to do a whole sheet would be like a whole coloring page takes forever. And then the, what do you call it? Crack the Whip. That I do want to, you know, maybe choose 2 or 3 of the whips per. I don't think I'll do it weekly. If I can, I will. That'd be a fun one to do weekly, but it just all depends on time. I'm going to commit to one every 2 weeks, and then we'll see how that goes, and then we'll go from there. Is that too many clouds? It's a cloudy day. This one here, I'm just gonna make it really small. I might still go and do that blue just with the pencil. You have to wait till it's not wet though, because it's gonna make a mess. Yeah, I might. No, it's still wet. Listen to you. Unless I just go very lightly and just move the color right away, and then it won't. Because for the cloud, I wanted it to be kind of intense, you know? So you see the cloud. And I think I'm going to add some white. I got my white. I'm going to add white once it's dry, like later on. Try that. See how that goes. And then we'll leave the sky for a bit and we'll try working on some other stuff, you know? Okay. That's where using the palette would have been better, because then it wouldn't have, my pencil would have stayed dried, and then I could have used it to do the rest of the sky. And when it comes to here, I'm just going to go over the line just a little bit on a few places. But I think I'm going to let it dry, everything. Like the paper, the pencil, everything. Now let me figure out what we're going to do next. I have all my pencils here, but I just want to kind of think on how I want to put it on here, and then I'll be back. This page is like a fantastical place, and it's the place where the fairies live. So it's got like not just plain brown mushrooms. So we're going to use two pinks, 123 and 133, so fuchsia and magenta. And then we're going to use two purples, 136, which is purple violet, and 160, which is manganese violet. So I think I'm going to do like the dark purple up, or the dark pink up here, and start with a little bit of, should I bring some ivory in just to add some highlights? So I went and got my ivory. Okay, we'll just work on one, and then I'll come back after all the other ones are done. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this magenta at the top, and then just kind of bring down the color a little bit, mix in a little bit of this fuchsia in there, and then a little bit of fuchsia coming up, and this is where I'm going to do a little bit of the ivory, and then we'll do a little bit of purple on the bottom. We'll add a little bit more purple on this side, and maybe just a little bit on the bottom here. Just bring a little bit of color. Okay, now let's see. Let's see what kind of mess we made. I just, lately, I've really loved bringing in tons, like I'll color something and then I'll add a little bit of purple or green or yellow, you know, depending what colors I'm using. or even blue, and it just adds so much to it. Yeah, I really like that. And this is just the first coat, right? I'll bring it up. Look how cool that is. I love that. And I'm going to let that dry, and I'll add the same colors, but in polychromos. I'll just kind of finesse everything. Okay. Should we do another one together? And then I'll do the rest and then come back. Let's do another one. So I did a little bit of the magenta, kind of not being like even, just kind of stroking out here. And then I'm going in with the pink, and I'm adding over top of that, adding over top the magenta, adding a little bit of purple here, or not purple, pink at the bottom. Oh, that's not the darkest purple. This is the darkest purple. Is it? No, this, I was right. And then we'll add some purple on the end and a little bit of purple with the pink down here. Add some more pink. And then we'll use that ivory to kind of almost blend everything together. Okay, now I have my cloth close, so when I start in the light and go to the dark, when I get there, I don't want to drag that dark down. So I'm going to clean off my brush. So cute. Same thing down here. Go from the light to the dark and just clean off my brush. So I'm kind of starting fresh every time. And you know what? Every mushroom is going to be different. And that's even better. That's even better. Because everything in nature is not the same. I love it. Okay. Now I'm going to do the rest of the mushrooms, and then we'll come back and work on another part. Okay, I want to show this to you while I thought of it. So I sharpened my pencil and the lead broke inside. So there's quite a bit there. Well, this is watercolor, right? So I have this container here. It's actually, I had bought this for my Neo Color 2s when I sharpened them. And I just ordered another one, and I don't need it for 120 because, I mean, I'm hoping that's not going to happen too often. But it's not as if I have to hold it and do this. Like, I can just go directly, you know, with this and use it up, because that's a lot of money right there. So I just wrote it on the cover with a Sharpie. And I put AD for Albrecht Durers, so I know that's what it is. And now it's in there, and it's safe, and I don't have to worry about it. So now we're going to do kind of like the vines, I guess. I was going to do them green, but again, it's a fantastical world. I was going to say mushrooms, shouldn't it be more like beige-ish? You know? Or should I do them what I had thought and do them in green? I don't know. It just dawned on me right now. When I was sharpening my pencils, it dumped over on my work, like all the shavings and stuff. Oh, I was not happy. Okay, now I'm just trying to think. But it's going to be so boring if it's just like, let's try with this. It's a fantastical world. Everything is not what it seems to be. Now, what I'm doing with these is I'm trying to make it so that I have very, very little pencil work to do later. I want to make it so that I barely have any shadows or anything like that to do with regular, like the polychromos. So let's try that. Again, going from, let me put this down, the light to the dark. Just like that. And after every kind of stroke, just cleaning off my brush so I don't drag. Yeah, I like that. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to make the shadows on the same side for every single one. So I'm starting with the May green, and I can color the whole thing. Color the whole thing with the May green. And then I'm going to come in with the earth green yellowish, which is 168. And then I'm going to do it different than the last one. I'm going to color right from where I want the shadow to about halfway. So right now I have two colors, one on top of the other, right? I think I'll get more color that way. I like that, but I think it'll be even more. And then I'm going to go in with the permanent green olive, and I'm just going to do like the darkest shadow just along the edge, just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do the May green again. I'm going to add it just to the edge and kind of blend the other two. There. I'm going to do the same thing. Light to dark. Cleaning in between each section. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the rest of them and then we'll come back. It's actually the next day and I did quite a bit on that page. There it is. I finished it. So all I had left to do were the butterflies. And I kind of did that using more than one color. And I did, for one butterfly, I used the same color as I did here. I just put it in different places. And I guess I still need to put like the embellishment. So I'm going to go get gel pens and I'm going to put some sparkles on the wings and stuff. And then this one here, I just added yellow and a little bit of blue, but I blended that purple, that same purple. I used them on all the butterflies and just used them in different configuration and then added the blue that I used for the sky. Yeah, So I like how that turned out. I really love the mushroom. Now I have gone with regular polychromos. Again, when I pulled some of the polychromos, I pulled the polychromos that was the same color that I used, because yes, I used, let's say, 170 for the green, but I wetted it, so then it makes it lighter. So then you use the same color and it just makes it darker. And the sky, I like how it turned out. It just kind of looks like, there's clouds all over. I really like it. It was a fun page. Now it is a little crinkly. And again, when you wet it, the fibers kind of like let go. And then when they dry, they shrink and then they get smaller than what they were. So then you just have to stretch the fibers again. And another thing that you can do is iron your page, which I might do. And what you do, you just put like parchment paper over and then iron your page like you would a piece of clothing. Just don't stay on too long. And I would do it before. I'm sure you can still do it with like glitter on, but the glitter will probably transfer over to the parchment paper. And I don't even know if I will. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it, in the book shut like this. And it should. You see how when I'm holding it tight, you can't tell, like the page that's buckled is right there. But when I hold it tight, it goes away. So I'm going to put some heavy books on it for a few days and see if that fixes it. Now, the last thing we're going to do, and this we're not going to be long at it at all, because I think this video is kind of going to be pretty long. And I think I've mentioned it, but I want to make sure, is I'm not going to upload one of these videos every week. It's going to be every second week. So I'm thinking 1 week is going to be Crack the Whip. 1 week is going to be this, because I started this at the beginning of the week and we are now Friday. So it does take quite a bit of time, but it's fun. So I don't mind. I just won't be able to do one every week. That's all. Okay, so let's start with the mice. And we're going to color directly. Now, remember that I put some satin glazing liquid on this. And it doesn't feel like, can you hear that? So it is a little bit more toothy, if you will. But let's see. I said it was way less than the last time I had put satin glaze liquid on. And I had used a foam brush. And this time I used that rubber brush. And it seemed to like kind of stretch it a whole lot more. So it doesn't feel scratchy coloring on it at all. I thought I was going to have to use some sandpaper, but nope, it's good. It's good. And then what we're going to do, I'm just going to, when I get to the green, I'm going to flip the page over. And I'm going to do the green on this page that wasn't treated and activate it. And I'll see, like I'm not going to do a whole page, but what I planned on doing was not putting that satin glaze on one area of this page, but I got going putting the satin glaze on and it was just go to town. So it's all good. So this page is going to be very much so like muted colors. Okay, let's finish the mouse. I'll activate it. And then I'll turn the camera off and do the other mouse. And then we'll come back and do something else. I'm just thinking, since I'm doing this, I just, you know, I want to do all the elements. And, oh, that's the wrong one. It's still good. It's just really small. I'd rather have a bigger brush. And here it is, the bigger brush tip. And we will activate this. I really liked yesterday when let's say for the mushrooms, that I used more than one color. And then I had so little colored pencil work to do on those mushrooms, like just very minimal. And I really like how those mushrooms turned out. So it's more work, you know, on this part, because, you know, you're adding extra colors, but on the back end, it's going to save you some time. It's sort of like, I don't know why that popped into my head, but I will buy like big, or we have a fruit and vegetable store here that will have, I'm going to start coloring while I tell the story. Vegetables like $5 peppers to fill a bag. Well, there's no way we can eat that big bag because there's like 20, and they encourage you to fill it until like you can barely hold the handles. So there's no way you can eat that in a week. So what I do is I sit down and I cut everything, or we buy a 10-pound bag of onions because it's cheaper at Costco. And then I sit down and cut. And then we do the same thing with, if the garlic goes on sale, you know, 3 garlics for under $1, like 77 cents, we'll just buy a whole bunch, and I will open them all up and then grind them all up and then make pucks with them. We do that with ginger, like everything. It's work on the front end, but then when I go to make a spaghetti sauce, a soup, or whatever, I just open up packages and it's done. So it's kind of like that, you know, you do the work, whether you do it at the beginning or at the end, you still have to do the work. Okay, now I'm going to activate this off camera because you saw me activate it over there. And then we'll come back and we'll start another part of the layout. I'm pretty sure I said we'll do another part of the layout. I'm so used to talking about scrapbooking that I still call it a layout, but the page. Now we're going to work with 132 beige. We're going to do the mushroom caps. But this is working. Let me do this one. It's much smaller, and then I'll do the big one on my own. I'm really enjoying coloring. It's a total different feel than the last time that I use that satin glaze liquid, and it has to be because of that different brush. And again, I'll bring it up closer, but it's like a rubber brush, like it doesn't open or anything. It's just, but it's really moved it along. So that is definitely a winner. And I had never even thought of that. I just went upstairs to get a brush and a sponge brush. And I have a bag that I keep all my brushes in. And as I was going through it to find a brush that I could keep down here, I saw that and I'm like, hey, let me try that and see if I like it, you know? I'm putting a little bit more pressure on this because I do want the mushroom cap to have some color. Do you know what I mean? This is going to be almost like fallish colors. And although like yesterday, the page that we worked in, the mushrooms, I made them kind of fantastical. I could have done this too with the purple, and I could have used the exact same colors and it would have looked great. I just worked with those colors all yesterday, so I just wanted to different colors. And when I go to put shadows on this, I'm definitely going to start with the beige red. And then I'll go on palette kit and maybe, or sometimes I just Google it. What darker color or shadow color can I use with, you know, the Albrecht Dürer or Polychromos 132? And then it'll give me some ideas, and then I go and I try them out because they usually give you a couple. And then I pick the one that I like, or I take out my swatch and or my pencils. I think I said that in earlier this video, maybe it was another video, but I'll put the two tips together and see if they kind of go together. So it just depends if I'm having, you know, a day that I don't want to think, then I'll just Google it or look on palette kit for a color combo. Okay. But I found with the page yesterday, just using the exact same pencils, but in Polychromos, because I had activated the pencils, it made them lighter, and then the exact same pencil worked. Okay, I'm gonna do the top mushroom, and then we'll come back and maybe do the leaves, and then we'll do the leaves for there, and then we'll be done. So as I was coloring that in, I thought this is very fallish. So then instead of just doing the leaves green, I decided to do it like that the leaves are changing. So I'm going to do earth green yellowish, brown ochre, which the brown earth green yellowish is 168, brown ochre is 182, and dark chrome yellow is 108. No, 109. And I'll just put a little bit here and there of each color. We'll do a couple leaves if there's a lot of leaves together, and then I'll just do the rest on my own. And I think this one, yeah, that's more summery because it has strawberries. So I'll just do green for that one. And basically all I want is to see if, you know, how the color is going to go down. Like at this point, nothing's gone through. I mean, it's very warpy, but it's Amazon paper, so I kind of expected that to happen, you know. But at least it's not wrecking the whole paper, you know. It's pretty wet. That's pretty wet. Like if you look at this one's pretty dry and it went back to normal. So, do you know what I notice? The light that I have, if I touch the light, it makes the light go brighter or not as bright. And I have a button for that I literally have to push or no, turn. So that's weird. It's not the first time I've noticed that. I probably would have chosen a different, I don't know, color for the yellow, but it was already out. So I was like, we'll take that. I think it'll be okay. I'll just do a little bit more of the brown on this one because this one is a little bit crispier than that one. Okay, so now we'll start with the light. Going into the brown. And again, with the polychromos, I'll add more shadows and stuff. And then I don't have to think too, right? It's like, oh, I used brown ochre. Okay, I use, what is this one? Earth green yellowish. Okay. And now I know that pine, because I've used my polychromos quite a bit, I know that pine green goes really well with this color. So for a deep color, so I like that. But the pencil really blends well on this paper with being treated. We'll see how it works not being treated. It just opens up the possibilities, right? Because I always thought like, okay, well, Amazon paper, alcohol markers, and then colored pencils over top. So if this really works, then bonus. Now this one here, I'll just do the green because it's summer. And then I'll just do like highlights and shadows with regular polychromos. So I went yesterday, and we'll do it on a couple of leaves. And I checked an art store that we have left here, and they do have the Albrecht Durers. My problem with that art store is a lot of times nothing is in stock, like literally nothing is in stock, always. The other place, everything was in stock. But anyway, they had a sale on Albrecht Durers for $2.25 a pencil. So I ordered 10 of them, and they don't have the polychromos there. Oh, see? It's ghosting already. And the other one never ghosted. So definitely can't put a lot of water on this. I don't, seems to me, the pencil, see how it's ghosting? The pencil is not moving as well either. Like, I can't make the color move around as well. Yeah, so definitely use the glazing, the satin glazing liquid. And I would say using this rubber brush because it puts a fine coat. Now what I'm going to do for this page is I'm still going to put glazing over top. I'm just going to put it right over top everything. Maybe I'll try to avoid those, but I'll still do it because if I do want to use watercolor, or I'll just color with markers and then, okay. Well, that's it. Oh, I forgot that mushroom. And then I'm still going to do all these leaves. And for the mushroom base, I think I'm going to start with ivory, which is 103. And then I will shade with a little bit of brown, like a really light brown. Yeah, I like that. So just keep an eye at the end of the video. I will put a progress photo for all 3 pages. Now, you know, I finished one. I just got to put the glitter, which I'll probably do today. I'll probably work a little bit more on this one. I was looking for the other page we worked on, and it was right in front of my face and I couldn't see it. So if I do any progress on this, I'll put up a picture. And then we worked on this one, and then we worked on that one. Now let me take a minute and I'll think about, kind of in summary, what I think of the Albrecht Durers and kind of what I've learned, and I'll come back. In summary, I love the Albrecht Durers. I love that you can use them wet or dry. I love that the polychromos are the exact same colors. I love that you can use them on a multitude of different papers as long as you treat it. Like the Amazon paper is not good just this directly, but if you use the satin glazing liquid and you use that rubber brush, because you can really kind of stretch that glazing, and there's like, it's not sandy at all, or gritty, that's a better word. It's not gritty at all. The pencils go on it like butter, and you can move the color on the Amazon paper once it's protected. For a book like Erie, these worked well, amazingly, but the bonus of using these is that Erie's book are known that certain pencils, if you just go straight in with the pencils, they don't work well. But if you have a base, then they work really well. The other thing is these are so bright. Look how bright and cheery this page is. I just love it. Another thing that I notice is that, let's say if I use brown ochre 182 for the base, you know, I can use it as one of the layers, with polychromos, because I spread the color or activated it. It kind of made a lighter color of this shade. So then that way you can use the same color as one of the colors that you can use for, shadows or highlights or whatever. And then I would use, like one darker for the darkest area. Okay. So that's it. That is, let's talk about Albrecht Durers by Faber-Castells. And these, by the way, are made in Germany, and I absolutely love them. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, because we're going to be testing all kinds of products and, testing them on different papers, and like even just using a different tool can make a difference, right? And so I'm just having fun. I'm learning, but I'm hoping that by doing it and talking it through, I'm discovering new things that I'm enjoying. For example, using that rubber brush on the satin glazed liquid, and just different ways to use the products. And if you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.